Welcome to the Veteran Hour. I'm your host, Levi Miller.
And I'm Tom Luke and the other host. I'd like to welcome everybody today. I'd like to welcome our guests. We have Army veteran Sarah Mendez with us. It will be, for once, we're trying to get away from just having the guys on, so I'd like to thank Sarah for coming on. Sarah, how you doing? And glad to have you on the show.
Hey, fine, thank you. I'm glad to be here. A little nervous, of course, but whatever. I'm here.
Oh, well, you'll find it's easier to talk like this than talk in front of the crowd. At least it is for me. And so, but hey, Sarah, why don't you go ahead and just give us start off with a background, at least of your history with the Army. You know.
Well, let's see. I went to basic in 1990. I went to Fort Dix, and then I also did AIT there. Then went to Korea after AIT, and stayed in Korea till April '91. And that was it for my active duty.
Where'd you go after that?
After that, I got out.
Oh, did you? So you did 2 years then?
I did one. I just did 1 year active. The rest were inactive.
Oh, okay. So I guess I'm the only one who decided to do multiple years every time we turn around.
I think so, Thomas. That's right.
Of course.
Hey, I only did a year active, but felt like 20, right?
Yeah, well, I did 10, but then I went back and did another 9 years as a contractor. So.
Oh man, you love the abuse, huh?
What's that?
I said you love the abuse.
Yeah, silly me. Hey, what was your MLS then, Sarah?
Oh my gosh.
Huh?
I was a food service specialist.
Oh, okay.
Wow.
And now, what you doing now? Yeah, I know you're in Korea and you're at Camp Stanley. And, of course, I've spent one of my many years at Camp Stanley there. And I was there, actually, I left there 2 years before you got there. So I was there in 1987. Yeah, we're only 2 years apart. I left in 1988, and then I went up to Camp Mobile across the street from Camp Casey, and then I went back to Gary Owen after that. But that was my 3-year tour. And but it's back to you. But yeah, I was 2 years behind you at Stanley, so naturally you and I got a quite familiarization with Stanley. So, but back to Korea. So Korea was only your real main tour, huh? Active duty time.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Wow. So now Levi was there. Just to let you know, Levi was there 69 to 70.
Levi, you were there 69?
Yes, 69 to 70. I was at Camp Dodge in Korea, up north, and we went down south. We at Camp Custer.
Oh my God! They still have that, didn't they?
Oh yeah. Well, Sarah, did you like being in Korea?
It was a really difficult tour because I've never really been away from home.
Okay.
So I was really homesick. I was really, really homesick. But that's probably one of the best times of my life, really, when I think about it, and from what I can remember. So, it definitely changed me as a person, and I think for the better. I always, when I think of Korea, and I still dream about it, and I've heard other Korean veterans say the same thing, that they still dream about being in Korea. So, it has a special place in my heart, that's for sure.
Right, and Thomas, this for you, Thomas. Where is Camp Stanley in Korea? They probably changed the names on it.
Camp Stanley, if you take Highway 43 out of Weijambu,
okay.
Camp Stanley is actually Camp Stanley. Well, now Weijambu has grown in the last 30 years. It's basically on the east side of Weijambu, almost due east. You go due east on 43.
Okay.
And you run to Camp Stanley. The village, which is on the, actually there's a prison. And don't ask me why after all these years. We called the Monkey Farm, and Sarah knows that.
Okay, the Monkey Farm.
Monkey Farm.
Wow.
That was the name of the prison was over on the west side of Camp Stanley. When you came through, you had 3 gates in the Stanley. 2 were drive-throughs. The other one was blocked, and that's what they called the Chopper Gate. But the Ville was on the Ville is, we always called it, was on the east side, the small town, which was Song Suni. So, and Song Suni, yes, Song Suni. And I'm mixing up my towns, being careful. But, yeah, it was a little Ville, but a very active Ville.
Were it close to RC1?
No, remember, Stanley's down there by Wijambu.
Oh, okay.
So, and Stanley was probably about as far south as Second ID was.
Oh, okay.
Because they occupied the camp there. That was mainly the airfield we had. And see, Levi, I think 7th ID used to be at Camp Stanley.
Oh, okay.
When you were still there.
Uh-huh.
And because Camp Stanley actually was founded in 1954, the year after the Korean War.
Okay.
And I can't think of it. Sarah might remember. There's a gentleman. What's his name? Bruce something. Bruce. He's got pictures from when they first established Stanley, right after the Korean War.
Oh, Bruce Richards.
What's that?
Bruce Richards. His name is
Bruce Richards. Yeah. So he's posted stuff. There's a Camp Stanley group on Facebook that I know me and Sarah both been in for a while. So we've talked about. Of course, we got some Cav guys in there too, Levi. You wouldn't like.
Okay.
You're not on it, Levi?
Yeah, because in Sarah, in when I was there, 69 and 70, we never did even see an American lady. We didn't ever see a soldier, a lady soldier. But things change.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Now, Sarah did. I know I talked to Kelly, but Kelly. Oh boy, Kelly's gonna slap me. I forgot her last name.
Kelly Michael Roberts.
Yeah. Kelly was there in 83. I was thinking it was earlier, but I forgot she was there in 83, 84. And she said she was the first female there at Stanley.
Oh, wow.
Her and Julie Pittman, she's also on the Camp Stanley page. Both of them were both there. Probably one of the first females to be there at Camp Stanley. So I'm sure that was a treat for the fellas.
So, Sarah, what was your duties at Camp Stanley?
I was a cook, so I was there like 5 a.m. until probably about 9 or 10 p.m. So that was what I spent most of my time doing. And when I was off, I don't remember what I did when I was off. After hours, though, I only went to the Ville a few times, mostly to buy like the kimchi cassettes and things like that. Of course, the females didn't do the bars like the guys did.
Oh, yeah.
We were into other things. So, yeah.
Well, the thing is, like me and Kelly talked about this not too long ago, Sarah. Being down the Ville, a small Ville like that, where you got a bunch of male GIs, was not easy for a female GI, because once you're off that camp there's a lot of cackling going on and so on, because, when you're one of the few female GIs, you're one out of 1,000, one female out of 1,000 guys there at Stanley at the time, because there wasn't that many females when you... See, when I left in 88, I think there was only 2 or 3 females at Camp Stanley.
Wow.
There's a few more that are up at the division at Casey. So.
Oh, okay. You had to go over there if you wanted a round eye, huh?
Yeah, because division headquarters was up up there by at that time. And so the main support units like DISCOM, 70 Deuce, 70 Deuce Maintenance, and them were all based out of Camp Casey at 90. So, and now, did you get extended because of Desert Storm to stay longer?
No. I didn't even go to Desert Storm. I would say everything happens for a reason, So, what happened was I got pregnant while I was in Korea. So.
Oh, okay. Yeah, because I know some.
Well, that's why I got out. I knew I was going to be a single mother, so I really didn't want to be away from my baby.
Oh, okay.
For me, the best thing to do was just to leave the military, and I miss it, but it really was one of the best times of my life. And I still keep in touch with people, from Korea or from basic, or whatever. Even if I never met them in person, I talk to them on Facebook or we text or whatever. And they've been some of the greatest people that I've had in my life. So I've been very blessed.
Yeah. Well, Facebook has its pros and cons, as we all know. But one of the pros, it's really been helpful meeting people. Even if you didn't serve an exact time or exact dates, it's been nice to meet people who served, especially in Korea, for example. For me, I've met very few I served with, that I didn't have communications already with. But it's just nice to be able to talk to other people about Korea, because most, especially, in my case, in Levi's case, spent a lot of time up in the DMZ. Most people don't understand, or realize what the duty was like over in Korea. And I know from experience talking to people and telling them what went on, they just look at me like I'm on drugs.
Yeah, always. That's right.
Yeah. Well, and I sit there, it's like, that's the way it was. If you don't want to believe it, tough it. But that's, the stuff that happened over there happened, Of course, the old saying, what happened in Korea stayed in Korea.
Oh, man. Is it still even a hardship tour?
What's that?
Is Korea still a hardship tour now?
Well, they keep trying to move Camp Casey, Second ID, what's left to it, down to Camp Humphreys. That's the plan down in Pyeongtaek. But they made a command sponsorship tour sometime. They actually, somewhere in the early 2000s, they opened up a Dodge school there. So they went somewhere in the 2000s, they changed it where you could have command sponsorship. It took them 50 years, but, of course, it was never like that for any of us. Me.
Right.
If you had a spouse, you got your BAQ because of dependents. But past that, you didn't get no separate RAP or, BHA or whatever. Variable housing allowance to go along with the BAQ. Which in Korea years back, you really didn't need it, but that's a different story. But yeah. So, and of course, you have to pay for transportation of your dependents if you want to bring them over.
Oh, wow.
Right.
Yeah, so if you brought them over, Levi, you have to pay yourself. You could have them, but the Army wasn't going to sponsor them. And that's the funny part. They don't want to sponsor them, but yet your dependents were forced to go through what they call NEO exercises.
Okay.
Which is, NEO was for, I forget what the acronym stands for, but it was evacuation, but it was evacuation of non-combatants, is what NEO was. So they would have NEO exercises, and you have to take your family in, and they're supposed to take them in and register them like you're going to put them on trucks and send them south so they can fly them out of Korea. But, that's what NEO was. But past that, yeah, if you had dependents over there, that was at your expense, not the Army's. So, not up north. Because the only ones that really ever got command sponsor was basically field grade officers and above.
Wow.
Yeah.
And so, but they had to extend and take commands, depending what's going on. Because even the company grade officers didn't get it. I've known some that bring their wives, but, just like the regular GI, like the listed, it was at their expense. So, and, but no, Korea's changed. I was over there, Sarah. I didn't get to Stanley last year when I went, but even Camp Casey was hard to recognize a lot of parts. It's really changed from what it was.
Yeah, cause Thomas Camp Casey, when I was there, was the 7th Division had Camp Casey.
Yeah, it was. And 71, when 7ID deactivated, 2nd ID took over Casey. And several of the other big camps, Hovey, Castle, Stanley, and some of the other ones down there. And 2nd ID took them over. So, of course, they closed down half their camps up there in the Western Corridor. And what was division headquarters of Camp House became brigade headquarters. Of course, the 3rd Brigade ended up was the one basically controlling the missions up in the DMZ. So when we went up in the DMZ, we were reported in the 3rd Brigade usually. So, and
when are you going to get to make it up there to Stanley again?
What's that, Sarah?
When will you be able to make it up to Stanley again?
I don't know. I'd like to get back in Korea, and see. I like to go back on my own tour. When I went, and it was gracious. I got to go through the 2ID Association picked me to go, but it was the city of Weijang who paid for the trip. And I wanted to get over to Stanley. I wanted to get over some of the other camps I knew, and Gary, like Gary On, the old Gary On. But they just the way they had our itinerary packed, we didn't get to go, and I was kind of hoping to do that. So.
Maybe next time.
I like it. What's that?
I said maybe next time.
Yeah, sometime. Maybe if I could win my fight with a VA and get my back pay. I'm up to 3 years now.
Well,
I know one day, huh?
Well, Thomas, I got the 10 years on waiting on them. I think it's pretty close now.
Yeah, well, I battled
Well, over 10 years since '96. Excuse me, I've been there since '96. Been waiting.
96.
Hello.
Oh my God.
Hi.
Yeah. Well,
Who this?
But
Okay, hold on one second. Okay, hold on.
See, when you were there at 90.
Okay,
Hold
hold on one second. You for the veteran show, correct?
Sarah. I left April 90.
You for the veteran show?
I left as a GI and came back
Okay,
as
hold
a
on one second.
civilian in July 91. So the time you were there, I wasn't even in Korea. I was at Fort Irwin and at a little TDY trip somewhere else in the Big Desert.
Hey, Thomas, we got a call in.
Do we?
Yes. Hello?
Hello.
Hey, Kelly.
How are you doing?
I'm doing well. How are you?
All right. Thomas, you know the caller?
Is that, who's the caller? Kelly?
My name is Chloe.
I'm sorry, I'm having a hard time hearing her name.
Colleen?
Oh, Colleen. Are you the one? How you doing, Colleen?
I'm doing well. How are you?
Okay, do you got a question for Sarah?
I do. My question is, and I don't know if this has been answered or asked yet. I have two questions, actually. What would you say the toughest thing was for you personally when you were over there? And my second question would be, what do you think your greatest accomplishment was over there as well?
That's for you, Sarah.
Oh, okay. I didn't hear the first question. I'm sorry. The first question was, what do you think the most difficult thing was for you to face over there personally? It's kind of breaking up, so I really can't hear the first question, but you said the second question, my greatest accomplishment. This is, I think it's no, what's the word? It's pretty much just no confidence. Because I didn't know where I was going in life or what I was doing or any of those things. But, even basic or even Korea, I would just say just finding out really how strong I was as a person, as a female, whatever you want to call it. And I know my military career wasn't very long, but I really feel that it set the tone for the future because I'm also a lifetime member of the VFW, and I feel I've done some really important things with them. So, as I said, just the strength that I got from going through the hardship in Korea, because it was really difficult for me. And just having an obstacle, but getting over that obstacle and moving on. Hopefully that answered the question. But I still can't hear the first question.
Okay, maybe Thomas can repeat this first question. Could you give Thomas the question you had first?
Yeah. Well, go ahead.
What do you think was the most difficult thing personally for you to adjust to being over there, going, leaving everything behind? Did you find that easy to do, or was it harder for you, or what was the most difficult thing in general with doing what you did?
Thomas, you want to repeat that so
Yeah,
Seth can hear you?
I could hear her, Levi, just to let you know, her volume sounds she's kind of shallow on volume. I could hear. I think, Sarah, if I cover everything right, I'm going to shorten up her question. She was asking what was probably the most difficult, for you adjusting to it. And I know you said you're homesick, and because you had a baby at that time at home, correct?
No, I didn't have the baby till after.
Okay. But you were just, being a young teenager, because you were, 18, 19 when you were over there, I assume? A typical young teenager.
We're not going to get into age, but I
I'm not trying to pinpoint your age, which I can do that.
So what was, she was asking what was the difficult thing there in Korea?
I think it's difficult for you, let me phrase that, and I'm going to add to it probably. What's difficult for you, because, for a guy to come over there, I could explain the difficulties, but guys are dime a dozen going to Korea, especially back then. Where, again, at that time, you're one, like we talked earlier, you were one of the few females, especially being Stanley being a lot smaller, let's say Camp Casey or Youngstown. And so you're one of the few females down there, so it makes it more difficult to adjust. Because the facilities, as we know back then, weren't the greatest, that we had. And so, and a lot of the buildings, depending where you live and what unit, some of us, they got lucky staying in what we call the super hooches, the old ones, with their nice community latrines and everything. But yeah, I think that's what she's trying to ask. What was most difficult for you there, and what do you think was one of your accomplishments? And of course, most people's accomplishment was trying to leave with the same rank they came with, and not get the
That's right.
It was probably easier for, I don't know. I had a strict Catholic upbringing, so military life definitely opened my eyes, and I was very naive. So, that put me in situations that were not good for me, and hurtful to me. So I just had to learn to wise up, I guess you could say. And it was difficult too because he wasn't the commander of the company next to where we were in our barracks, but he was constantly, just riding me, just on my back about everything, and so that was stressful for me too, because I there. So, anyways, that was difficult too, you know, being homesick and, you know, having somebody constantly riding my back, you know, just waiting for me to mess up so I could get in trouble.
Yeah. Well, I think,
and, you know, even I'm sorry,
I was going to say, you know, because the reason I say it, I know, like, you know, back in those days, even around 90, which I'm gone, which has been 27 years now, and don't have to remind us all how old we all are. But, you know, back then, I know, like, me and Kelly talked. Well, I asked Kelly because, you know, I know the perspective on being a soldier and a female, especially back 30-plus years ago, you know, 20 years ago, was totally different than was a male, because you all caught more hell than we would. I mean, you know, because guys are guys.
Right.
I don't give a damn your background. Guys are guys, period. End of question. And so, but to be one of the few females there, you know, some of the units, some of your senior NCOs, your officers, didn't always adjust to it. Because, you know, you talking guys, you know, sometimes when you're talking back in 90, you're talking your sergeant major is a Vietnam vet, most likely. First sergeant quite possibly could be, because you're talking only 20 years, you know, not even 20 years after Vietnam. So, I know Kelly said there were just a lot of male soldiers who were not happy about having females in the units. And, you know, and to agree, I understand that, I think, and not trying to be mean or bad about it, but back then, especially in the combat unit, it's always sounded, you know, my belief had been tough to do at the time. You know, now the Israelis have perfected it, having females in actual combat units and combat roles. But, you know, but yeah, I think...
But there was still a double standard, too, as well, because I remember the male soldiers talking about how they were showing videos of, you know, like, venereal diseases and whatnot, you know, things like that. And I don't remember the females being shown those videos. So I asked my first sergeant and, you know, the commander, I was like, well, why did the guys get shown these videos and we didn't? Because when they come back from being in the field, they come back to us, you know, so where's the care for us? Where's the concern for us, you know? So maybe that probably got me in trouble too, but, you know, I mean, but I feel like even, you know, back then it was still like a good old boys club, you know, like you were saying, you know, these guys getting on, et cetera, you know, and all that, so.
Well, and that's why, you know, and of course, you know, again, even I'm just as guilty as any other guy, you know, have adjusted to the idea. Of course, we grew up with a different, you know, our days of growing up, you know, all three of us are different than what our children have seen with taller adults, as I know. And our era was different growing up as it is, you know, and, it's just, I don't know, it's just, the good old boys system's always been there, basically. You know, it's like, this is a men's club. It's not females are not allowed.
Yeah, that's what they're thinking back then.
It's still like that in the VFW and the American Legion. Okay.
I tell you what, I dealt with, like, my VFW locally, and a couple of them are involved. They're hard-nosed females, and you're not going to roll them over. I'll tell you that. One was a young lady who was my quartermaster when I was the commander of the VFW still. Young lady, Navy girl, and she's a good kid, good girl, and she did a good job. And I highly commend her, and I've always supported her in the post. And God forbid anybody let me catch somebody say something bad about her, because there have been hell to pay. You know, she was, you know. I try to be open-minded on things, and but yeah, I know it's for a female to be a female in the Army, in the military in general, especially in the Army when you get in the rougher duties there, and you know, areas even like Korea or, you know, like Afghanistan, you know, you get in foreign lands, and you know, Yeah, I don't know. It's just the females are few and far in between, American females compared to males. So I always believe it's a tougher road for you all, to deal with than for the men. Although there's men that have a hard time. When you take an 18-year-old kid, I don't give a damn male or female, and transplant them, 9,000 miles away. Boy, their whole world just turned around in a couple months. They don't know what happened to their world. And so, I think that's hard on any kid, no matter whether you're in no matter where you send them to. Here you are, 18 years of life, growing up in, whatever, some small town in Texas, Illinois, Georgia, and I'm just saying where all three are from. But, when you take an 18-year-old kid and transplant them somewhere in the Army, it's a drastic change.
Yeah, it's very hard. Yes.
It's a totally different world, that's for sure. But you're living to learn. Hopefully you learn.
Oh, yeah. Well, and, and the biggest thing, I'm glad the Army's made improvements, or the military in general. It ain't just the Army. All branches have had to, to allow females in more. I guess my concern is, again, I'm kind of old-fashioned. I always concerned about it because, somebody said about being I was an Army Cavalry Scout, I always would have been concerned having a female in the unit. It's like, it should be, we've had men who couldn't handle the physical duties.
That's true.
Alone. I've always been concerned, and still am, can a female handle it? Now, I've met some females that probably whoop my butt.
Oh, I know. Some of the women nowadays are scary looking. They're little wolves. Wow.
Yeah. Oh, I agree. There's some I look at. They could pick my big old butt up and throw me across the road.
Or they're just going to look at you,
Yeah. So, and although you hear my kids, they're all adults, and they still stay scared of their mother. They know she may be all 4'11", but she could be ferocious. Of course, I'm scared of my mother. She's 85. I always said my mother wouldn't hesitate to pick up a frying pan, hit me upside the head when I ain't looking.
Yeah, Thomas, they'll do that. That's right.
Nothing like a mother scoring. But yeah, and that's the thing, I think that's what a caller, I think she's the one who posted a comment earlier, too, on Facebook. And I thought, at first it sounded like Kelly calling. I thought maybe it was Kelly. But yeah, it just, I know for you guys, it's a different aspect than it is for the men. I mean, for us men, it's, we're a dime a dozen, it's just, we you have the usual in-house stuff, when you get to new units, we all endure. But, for a female, especially back then, coming into Korea, because, even 1990, 20 years after you, Levi, the military facilities were just still way behind in improving.
I can imagine.
And so, you might have 2, 3-story barracks, but a lot of them were stuff that was built in the 60s, the brick style. I know, like the ones I stayed in at Stanley, it was like a brick barracks in the States, but, you had rooms, and we were jam-packed in there. So, we had 4 men to a 2-man room, and 2 men to a 1-man room, and E5s, because we were so short in space, E5s were living, E1 through 5 lived together in the rooms. It was hard to separate. And so, and I could see it with, like, Sarah's case, when you didn't have too many females. I imagine Kelly kind of explained it to me, but you all had to keep us, they kind of had to keep you, they kept you in a separate barracks or separate part of the barracks from the men, didn't they, Sarah? I lost her.
We kind of losing you, Sarah. Can you hear us, Sarah? Yeah, we can't hardly hear you. Are you still there? We barely can hear you. Do we have the other caller on the line?
Yes.
Okay.
If you need to let me go, you can.
No.
I'm sorry, I didn't even know she was still on. I apologize.
So where were you stationed?
Myself?
Yes.
Oh, I was just curious
Okay.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, you see, the military, like I said, it's been, from what I've seen, has improved. But back then, and even before, I know it could be hard on females, especially over in Korea, when there's just so few were there. And, when you got one female for, God knows how many males, to me, it had to be tough duty for them. And I can't imagine it because I'm not a female, and
Sarah.
That's kind of why we got Sarah.
I'm gonna hang up and call you again. We lost the volume.
So hard to believe in 1990s.
Hey, call me on it. You see my number right here, Sarah? Call me back.
But,
call me back. Okay, bye-bye.
So, of course, and by 1990, I was an old 27-year-old man in the Army, old then. So I've been in. For me, of course, Levi was already well out of the Army.
Oh yeah. Oh yes. Hey, Sarah, you back?
Is that Sarah calling back in?
Yeah. Okay, hold on one second. I'm gonna put you on loudspeaker. Yeah, I think we got Sarah back on the line. Sarah, can you hear us?
I can. I think you sound excellent.
All right, we got Sarah back. Thomas.
Hey, Sarah, I'm calling.
Thomas is trying to get rid of me. But hey, y'all, I'd like to mention really quick that my VFW, I'm with District 4 in the VFW there in Houston, and back in 2011, my VFW had filed a suit against the U.S. Department of Veterans Affairs and the Houston National Cemetery because they were trying to ensure religious freedom because they wanted us to stop saying God in our during our ceremonial details, for the honors for burials.
Wow.
So my VFW has something to do with that. So I just wanted to brag about that for me. And it was a female commander, district commander that we had. So yes, I would like to brag about that.
Wow,
Yeah.
That's something else.
Yeah, I thought that was awesome because, I was a little upset, that we couldn't say God in the prayer at the burials. But, so like I said, our VFW stepped up to the plate with the National Ladies Memorial, and took them to court and won. So I'm very pleased with that. So yeah.
See, that's never happened with us. And you would have, then again, being in VFW, being a small post in the middle of a rural area, you're pretty much, that's not an issue, sadly. Because the VFW has, as Sarah knows, rituals that, by VFW regulations that, you actually got rituals in the way you're supposed to do funerals. And it's pretty sad when you can't use God. Thank God it hasn't happened, where I'm at. Although I haven't done a funeral almost a year since I've been back to work and moved. But, yeah. But I think our caller's still on the line, right?
Caller, are you still on?
Oh, I am. But if you guys need the line, I can definitely hang up.
Okay, we just having a little technical difficulty this week, and we would love for you to call back in next week.
Yeah, I was going to say, we got a different, I'll just tell you who's on next week, and you can look online, and I'm trying to remember who we got on next week. Oh, I got John Lowell will be on. John was, spent time on the radar side up at the DMC. In fact, he was over there the same time as Sarah. So while Sarah was hiding down at Stanley, he was hiding up in the DMZ.
Oh,
John Lowe's his name, Lohne. And so, but yeah, if you want to call back in and we could give with John's concept what was like from his side perspective. He worked the radars up there, and he could give you a different perspective than either Levi or I could from what we did. So, and Sarah, hey Sarah,
Okay. So please call back in next week, okay?
I will. I'll talk to you guys soon.
All right, and thank you very much.
All right, thanks for calling.
You're welcome. Have a good one.
All right, bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Wow, since your main duty was Korea, and we've been on it, we'll stay on it. Did you go out and visit away from Stanley, like get down to Seoul, or even do let's say, a DMZ tour? Because you guys, I guess, I never did it. I didn't have to. I did my DMZ tours, but I know like the USO or MWR would put on DMZ tours for the other GIs to go.
You know, that's one thing I regret that I didn't do anything like that. I did go to Seoul, but of course just to go, to the clubs. But yeah, I regret that I never did any of those things. I didn't go see. We did go on a helicopter ride once, and that's probably the extent of any kind of tour or whatnot. And so yeah, I regret that. I regret that I didn't do anything fun like that. That's probably why I was so miserable, because I wasn't doing anything. Makes sense. But no, unfortunately, I didn't get to do any of those things.
Well, if you're like, again, like I knew some of the young GIs back then. I was a little different, but till 90 when I was ready to get the heck out of there. But most people, they were just wanting to do their year and get the hell out.
Yeah, but not Thomas. Levi, you did your year and that was it?
Yeah, that was a 13-month tour back then.
Oh, man.
I was glad to get out, but once I got out, I missed all my friends, all the comrades, we had together, and I thought about a lot. I wish I had stayed and took another tour, but my mother, she was dying for me to get home.
Oh my gosh!
Hey, and Thomas, once I got home, my mother, she still expected me to be home at 11 o'clock at night. if I gonna be later, yeah, if it was out of late, I had to call her, then go by the seafood place and bring her some seafood. I tell mother I've been out fighting, but you still want me at 11 o'clock. She said that's right.
You were there at 11 o'clock.
Right, she was worried about me, right? So so that's one of the reasons I want to re-up, because they tried to sign me up for 4 more months and send me to drill sergeant school, but mother, she ready for me to come home, and that was my queen, Yeah, so I had to make it just, had to refuse and just come back home.
That's right. And never look back.
Yeah, there you go. Never great.
Sarah, I know you had to go through them just like the rest of us. Alerts.
Oh, yeah.
Now, how much fun was that for you all? Because a lot of times those alerts were called at like 5 or 6 in the morning, and you guys are a lot of times diving into the mess hall, so how did you guys have to react?
God, I don't remember really. But I know we got there to get our stuff and keep going, whatever. I don't remember. That's what I was thinking earlier this week. I was like, you know what? There's a lot of things that I don't remember.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's good or bad, but...
No, I understand, because I got those 2 tours, 4 years. I forget most of my alerts. Some cases I prefer to. And
you go... It might be a good thing. But I do remember we had them. And I I didn't get in trouble.
Well, and just, you guys, for rest of us, like your case with the mess hall, breakfast has got to be served. So, it's kind of... But how would you guys react to alert? It's hard to practice alert when you had to make sure the chow is served.
Yeah, we got to make sure the chow is milked and the chickens were, the eggs were gotten from the chicken. Thomas, I can't remember for the life of me. I'm sorry.
Yeah, well, I don't feel bad, because God knows how many alerts I went through that I honestly don't remember most of them. Except the one I told him the turtle ditch. But,
CRS, I claim CRS.
Yeah, that was a fall grain alert we used to do. That was before they dropped the pass policy in 1988. Originally when they dropped the curfews. But, one night I told him the turtle ditch. It was at Stanley. Sad part, I was sober, too. So.
Just one night you fell?
Yeah, well, it's sad. It's not like I was new to it. It just, It was dark that night. We had alert, and I forget what happened. I just remember catching the edge of one, and next time I was in the damn ditch touching the store, and my buddies were laughing at me. We had, well, what a fall grain alert was usually happened at midnight for us, and what they would do is just call it fall grain. It was accountability, and that was to see who had a slicky pass. Make sure everybody in the unit was there.
Yeah, I remember the Slicky Pass, right. Slicky Pass, and Slicky Boys, right.
Oh, my God.
Yeah.
That's hard to imagine.
Right, there you go.
Yeah.
So,
It's another world, another time.
well, I tell you what, a friend of mine, David, we always said you had the Army, then you had Korea. The Army and Korea.
Right, so true. Even though I think it's Korea, but I can understand. Yeah. For sure.
Yeah, I mean,
some of the best times of your life.
You know, it was a tough life over there then, even, for many years. I think it's easier for the soldiers now than what it was. They got better facilities, but, even for us to try to get on tours was hard to do if you wanted to. It's just combat arms, anywhere. But, it all depended, but you had to, for us, there was always, you had to worry about the real mission, too, up in the DMZ being the CAV, like the infantry. And when we had to rotate up there to do our missions. And so, there was always so much going on in Korea, in your case, now you were with Davardi, right?
Me?
Yeah.
No, I was headquarters, aviation.
Oh, you were with second aviation?
Yes,
Okay. So that was Charlie Troop 2 years prior. Charlie Troop 47 CAD. I'm just saying, that's another story I could tell you. But yeah, to see second aviation took over Stanley in '88. Second was a new unit. So when you got there, the Combat Aviation Brigade was only 2 years old. That was there.
Oh, it was still teething.
And, yeah, so, and in fact, the first brigade commander of the Combat Aviation Brigade was Colonel Webb. The feelings we had in the CAV towards him, I can't say on the radio.
Okay, well, send me a text and I'll...
He didn't like the CAV, so that's another story. But, so you were a second. Yeah. So you had with the aviation guys. And,
yeah. It was
you guys probably took over our old mess hall then, the CAV mess hall.
Well, let me tell you, when I got there, I remember that they had just closed the mess hall there that we were using and opened a new one. They had built a new one. So when I got there, we were using a new one.
Okay, we were still in the old one, which between the two troops we at the time that you were there, because you had Bravo and Charlie troop, and from 47 CAV, well, it was 517 when you got there, same units though. But till we moved in '88, we owned the mess hall there, one of them, so that's what I was thinking. And now, when you said open a new one, what they do, open one big mess hall for the whole camp?
I want to say, I think, because you talked to Woody before, right?
Yeah.
Gary, yeah. I think he was with Devory, wasn't he?
I don't know. I'm not sure. So.
Okay, well, I think they had their mess hall, and then I think we had aviation pod. Were we the only mess hall there? As far as I know, yeah. I think we were.
Well,
okay.
Well, Thomas, I got a question for Sarah. Always been on my mind. This for all the Great Viet veterans. In basic training, do males and females they train together, or what?
In basic, when I was there, the males and the females did not train together.
Okay.
And that was in 1990 at Fort Dix.
Okay. Well, Thomas, do they train together now, or how is that, Thomas?
Yeah, that one I think they do, but I'm not sure how they do. Now, how about AIT? Was your AIT? Did they train together though, right? Men and ladies.
Yes.
Oh, you did?
We did. Yes. We like whatever you were studying. Well, I mean, like for the clips and stuff. Yeah, we trained together. Like classes and things like that. So I was trying to think. Did we? Yeah, I guess we did do like PT together and stuff. Yeah.
Oh, okay. I always been wondering, what went on with that.
Yeah, nowadays I don't know, but back in 1990 at Fort Dix, the females and the males did not do basic training together.
Now, did you have just female drill sergeants?
Did we just have female what?
Drill sergeants.
What did you have for drill sergeants?
Oh, no.
Just females?
Oh, no, we had males. We had males, and we probably went through like 3 female drill sergeants. I don't know why, but yeah, but it was males.
You think the males be the ones that you would go through getting in trouble? I'd be honest. I would hate to have to be at the male drill sergeant of a whole female platoon. Oh my God, being married to one's bad enough. What did I say that?
No, I was good. I didn't give them any problems. But I remember talking to one of my friends from basic, and she told me when she had gotten in trouble, and I said, what? I said, how did you get in trouble? And she told me what she did. Like, they left basic, everything. I was like, why would you do that? I was like, I was too scared to do anything, except what I was told. So, I don't know.
So Sarah, what did it feel like, getting on the plane going to Korea? What were you thinking? What was your thoughts?
I don't think I was thinking. It was one of those things where you don't think about what's going to happen until it happens.
Okay.
I don't know. What is the word? Ignorance is bliss. The saying. So yeah, I don't really think I was thinking about what would happen or what was happening. All I knew is I was going there, and I didn't know what to expect. I didn't know what to think. I didn't know anything. So
New adventure.
Yeah, that's probably how I was thinking of it. All I knew is it wasn't going to be like basic. and I think about it now, and I'm like, you know what? I don't think I ever did PT.
Oh, wow.
I know, right?
Right.
One time we did it, but it was just like a walk from one side of the base to the other. I don't even, and I was like, because I think we were supposed to do it on our own or something, but I didn't.
Yeah, well, that was one thing in Korea, like Stanley, there was no bus, and Stanley was a little bigger than the camps you were ever on, Levi. So,
okay.
You walked your tush off there, and, you did anything. You went to the Ville, like my barracks, we stayed in, the main road that went through Stanley, Sarah, went over to the chopper gate, the same road ran all the way over to the prison gate.
Oh, really?
You know what road I'm talking about, right? The road that came out, that ran up to the chopper gate. That was the main road that ran through the camp, going that direction, and ran over to the prison gate. Where the monkey farm was.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I know where that is.
Yeah, well, that was the same road. My barracks was like almost dead center of the camp off that road, just down the hill. Because Camp Stanley was on side of a hill, as you remember. And so, because our mess hall that we shared with Charlie Troop was directly behind our barracks up the hill. So it was like, everybody's like, when, it's time for chow, it's like, okay, here we go. We got to walk all the way up the hill. So,
after a long night of partying.
Yeah, because we were down on the airfield if we were in camp training at all, and so.
Good times.
But yeah, and so it's a long haul from the airfield up towards the top of that hill, because Camp Stanley, Levi, like I said, it was kind of like, you've been to Camp House, right, Levi?
Yes.
Camp Stanley was similar, but I've been to both. But House was pretty steep. It was basically, going up that hill, but Stanley was still on the gradual hill going up.
Oh, okay.
And he had a river that ran behind. I don't know if Sarah went up back up there on the river. We used to go up there on the cliffs, and when they were about 40 feet high.
You can talk about the pool.
What's that?
Are you going to talk about swimming holes?
The waterfalls, yeah. We would go up there and repel.
Oh, my God. Anyway.
Well, Thomas.
We would do other things up in the waterfalls, too, with the ladies of the night from the Ville.
Well, Thomas and Sarah, see how that time to slip up on us? We getting very close in the program.
Yes.
And like Sarah, like Thomas told you, when we talk about career, time go by real fast.
Gosh, I know. And Sarah was worried about what we were going to say.
yeah. But Thomas, sometimes we could talk 2 and 3 hours,
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. But before we go, Sarah, anybody you like to give a shout out to?
Just my brothers and sisters out there in the world, wherever y'all are. Y'all take care. And God bless. And that's it, I guess.
And Thomas, what would you like to tell Sarah? I surely appreciate your coming on.
Well, I do too. I appreciate you coming on, Sarah. Like I said, it's always kind of neat to get a different perspective. And, since me and Levi started doing the show together, over, this is what, our 6th or 7th or 8th show now.
Yeah, the 8th
so,
show.
It's kind of neat to get a different perspective. And, that's what we're trying to bring out to the people with the Veteran Show. We'd like to have them give a different perspective. And, that's why last week, for example, or 2 weeks ago, I had my friend Harold Mason on. He served up in the Iron Curtain there, served up on the East German border during the Cold War. But no, I appreciate you, sometime down the road we'll try to get you back. I'm trying to get Kelly to come on. I thought it'd be kind of neat to have her and give her a...
Okay, that would be great.
Yeah, and maybe we can have an uncensored version of Camp Stanley from the female point of view.
I've been bugging her. We talked a couple of weeks ago, Sarah, because she wanted to listen to the broadcast with you first and see how it went, she said. And so, just so everybody knows, we are podcasting the broadcast after it airs. It will air, the show airs every night at 8 o'clock Eastern, 7 o'clock Central. And we, once the show is starting Tuesday nights through Monday, then Monday night we will put up a podcast of the show, and it's on. You can find it. You can find it online, but it's on YouTube and I can't say it's Spreaker.
Spreaker, yes, Spreaker, yes.
And you can find it there, or you can find it on SoundCloud too. And so that's to let you know too, Sarah. Once we get done, of course, I'll post the links on the Facebook page. So it'll be on podcast. Well, we podcast it out because that way everybody can listen to the interviews after it. But like I said, we won't post it till the show is done playing for the week.
Okay, I would like to thank everyone, for listening in. And Sarah, yes, a special thanks to you for coming on. And
we don't keep up the great work.
all right, well, until tomorrow night, we come back on again at 8 o'clock Eastern Standard Time. So,
looking forward to it.
All right, so until tomorrow night, good night.